The state's broke.
In February 2011, Governor Scott Walker announced his plan to limit collective bargaining for most public employees and make them contribute more to their pensions and for health care. Massive protests followed. The controversial plan, which eventually passed, sparked an unprecedented recall effort against the governor. With the election getting closer, I sat down with Walker and with his opponent, Democrat Tom Barrett, to talk about the issue that started it all.
We're making tough structural reforms to put our budgets in better shape.
This state will not move forward as long as Scott Walker is governor of this state.
Barrett says the sweeping changes were not needed.
You had a situation where the union leaders agreed that their members would pay more toward pension, and they agreed that their members would pay more towards health care. So that issue's been resolved. And that was really what the real fiscal issue was.
Walker says that's simply not true.
2 statewide union leaders cannot negotiate for more than 1,700 municipalities, 424 school districts, and 72 counties. Those all have to be negotiated locally.
Walker admits he'd do things differently if he could. He would not change the outcome, just his approach.
Could I have done this process differently? Absolutely. If I spent more time last January and February talking about how most school districts had to buy their health insurance from just one company, and that cost them tens of millions of dollars more than it needed to, I think most people would have said, Democrat and Republican alike, Governor, you need to fix it. If I talked about the abuses and overtime that led in like Madison, where a city bus driver made $150,000 a year, most taxpayers, Democrat or Republican, would have said, you need to fix it. My problem was I just fixed it and I talked about it. Most times politicians talk about it but never fix it.
Barrett says Walker made matters worse. And if he's elected, Barrett says he would try to undo the changes.
How exactly would you hope to do that?
Well, I think that there's a multifaceted approach that you could take.
Barrett suggests several options, like calling a special session, having a freestanding bill, or putting it into the state budget. One problem that would be standing in his way is the Republican-controlled state assembly.
Do you really expect the Assembly Republicans to negotiate on it?
They may or may not, but again, there's an election in November, and having served in the legislature, I think that there are a lot of people who are going to say, do we want to continue the Civil War? And I've said I will end Scott Walker's Civil War.
Walker says rolling back the collective bargaining changes would be devastating to the state and would reopen old wounds.
He's the only candidate of the two of us who wants to go back and replay that whole debate. I think most people want to move on and move forward. They don't want to go backwards and have that debate all over again.
I don't think it's good for this state to be as divided as it is. And I think as long as Scott Walker is governor, our state will be divided.
Collective bargaining may be the issue that led to the recall, but this election is about much more than that. Join us Wednesday night at 9 as we highlight the differences between the candidates on the issue of jobs. For Fox 11 on Special Assignment, I'm Robert Hornacek. With a resounding win on Tuesday, Governor Scott Walker became the first governor in United States history to survive a recall.
But now it is time to move on and move forward in Wisconsin.
Walker addressed a capacity crowd at the Waukesha County Expo Center, saying voters sent a message to the state and the nation.
Tonight we tell Wisconsin, we tell our country, and we tell people all across the globe that voters really do want leaders who stand up and make the tough decisions.
Shortly before Walker's victory speech, his Democratic challenger, Tom Barrett, gave his concession speech in downtown Milwaukee.
We will continue to fight for justice and fairness in this city and this state.
Barrett says it's time for both sides to work together.
We are a state that has been deeply divided, and it is up to all of us, our side and their side, to listen to each other, and to try to do what's right for everyone in this state.
Walker echoed a similar theme, pledging to work with his opponents and not just his supporters.
Looking ahead to tackle the challenges that face all of the people of Wisconsin, we're both going to be committed to talking together about how to solve problems, and then working together, we're going to move forward with the solutions that put our state back on the right track towards more freedom and more prosperity for all of our people.
Walker says he's eager to get back to being simply the governor. He plans to meet with his cabinet in Madison on Wednesday, and then next week he's planning to invite every member of the state legislature, Democrats and Republicans, to an old-fashioned tailgate party, complete with hamburgers, brats, and beer.
In Waukesha, Robert Hornacek, Fox 11 News.
A familiar chant returned to Wisconsin politics Tuesday night as former Governor Tommy Thompson defeated 3 challengers in the Republican primary for U.S. Senate.
Wisconsin is on a roll!
Thompson, who was elected to 4 terms as governor, continued his electoral success in the state. But this one went down to the wire.
This has been a hard-fought campaign, and you all know it. And I couldn't have done it without the tremendous support and the volunteers.
Thompson's primary opponents are disappointed but proud of their own efforts.
This is the end of my political career. I hope not. Look, I will continue to be a voice out there, very loud and very firm, and do whatever I can do for our country.
Things obviously did not go exactly the way we wanted this evening, but I ask each of you in this room to do as we have done and accept the fact that the Lord had a different plan for our life and a different plan for leadership in this nation.
We caught a little momentum towards the end, but you know, it's tough when you get outspent the way we were outspent in this election.
Say vote for my grandpa.
As for Thompson, his attention now turns to Democratic Congresswoman Tammy Baldwin. Both candidates say they're prepared for a tight race.
He will put those at the very top, the big moneyed special interests, ahead of Wisconsin's hard-working middle-class families.
We got 83 days left, and I need your help. I need every single one of you. I want you to drink a beer tonight, a Wisconsin beer, and I want you to help me win this state.
While the primary turned out to be a little closer than the Thompson campaign hoped, all that matters in the end is that Thompson will advance to the general election. And now voters will decide whether the next senator from Wisconsin will be Tommy or Tammy. In Waukesha County, Robert Hornacek, Fox 11 News.
This is a Fox 11 News special report. You Decide 2012, the 8th Congressional District debate with candidates Reed Ribble and Jamie Wall. Now here's moderator Robert Hornacek of Fox 11 News.
And thanks for joining us here for this 8th Congressional District debate. This is the only debate in this race. The candidates in the race are Representative Reed Ribble, who is wrapping up his first term in Congress. Representative Ribble was born and raised in the Fox Valley. Before he was elected, he owned and operated his family's roofing company in Kaukauna. His opponent is Democrat Jamie Wall. He's born and raised in Brown County, and he works as a business consultant. I want to thank both of you for being here for this debate today.
Thanks for having us.
The first question will go to Congressman Ribble. The topic is jobs and the economy. Obviously, the jobs and the economy are the issue that everyone agrees is the most pressing concern in the country right now. The unemployment rate in Wisconsin is 7.3%. It's a little lower than it is in the nation, but still more than 200,000 folks in Wisconsin are not able to find jobs. What would you do in Congress in the next 2 years to help the economy recover?
Some of the things that we've already started, hopefully we can go ahead and finish some of those things. The House of Representatives has already passed over 30 bipartisan past jobs bills that focused on areas of energy production. We look at the Keystone Pipeline, a company right in Kaukauna was scheduled to build the pumping stations. Team Industries. Had the pipeline been approved by the president, those workers would be at work today. But we have to take a look and see where the friction points are, the things that slow the economy down. And you can kind of identify them in a few places. The regulatory environment, taxes, trade, U.S. tort policy, and transportation.
Well, look, the economy's getting better, but obviously not at the rate that we would hope. I think as a member of Congress, you do two things to help improve the economy. One is try to make sure that national policy is as good as it can be, and the other is working here in the district locally. On the national front, let me start up by agreeing with Congressman Ribble. I support the Keystone Pipeline, and I do think that that's something that would bring jobs into this country. I do, however, disagree that the trade policies of the type that he supported has been talking to would do much to help regular people, regular workers here in North Northeast Wisconsin. They've done more to export our jobs overseas than they have to export our goods.
And good evening, everyone. Welcome back to our local election coverage tonight with some basic fundamental decisions made by Fox News tonight regarding the two main races in the state.
And we have some more numbers coming in to show us how Wisconsin is voting this evening. Some new numbers for this race, the U.S. Senate race. Now, it's a race that has already been called by Fox News for the Democrat, Tammy Baldwin. She has apparently defeated former Governor Tommy Thompson. There you can see the latest numbers. They don't reflect that right now, but again, this race has been called by Fox News for the Democrat, Tammy Baldwin. And right now, Alex Rinaldo is in Madison with the Baldwin campaign. Let's go to her now for some reaction.
Well, hi, Michelle. Everyone out here is, as you can imagine, very excited to hear that Fox News has called the race for Tammy Baldwin. But right now, the speaker on the podium is actually Mark Pocan. He is the man who will take over Baldwin's seat in the House of Representatives for the 2nd District. But as I said, the crowd here is revved up, and we've seen it grow rapidly since the polls closed here at 8 o'clock. I keep hearing cheers going through the room through the night. And you know, there's Baldwin supporters here. There are state representatives and senators here. There was an appearance by Senator Russ Feingold, and everyone is excited. I spoke with Baldwin's campaign manager earlier this evening, and he told me that all day long they have been cautiously optimistic. So we're just waiting on the lady herself, Tammy Baldwin, to come out here. We're not quite sure when she's going to be here, but you can bet we will be here to bring you her speech when she does arrive. Now, Robert Hornacek is with Tommy Thompson's campaign in Pewaukee, so let's go ahead and check in with him.
Well, good evening, Alex. I can tell you that Tommy Thompson supporters here have been packed in here for the last hour and a half or so, and interestingly enough, they're glued to the televisions, but they're locked on cable channels, so they're not actually seeing the results for this Senate race pour in. So a lot of people here don't know that Fox News has projected that Tammy Baldwin is going to be the next senator from Wisconsin and not Tommy Thompson. And in fact, some people I did speak with say that they're still holding out hope that Thompson will be able to eke out a victory in some fashion here in Wisconsin. I can tell you that folks came in here very optimistic tonight, but as the results on the national level have started to pour in, the optimism has not totally faded from the room, but people are very tense as they're watching the results pour in. And they're still a little bit optimistic, but perhaps not as optimistic as they were when the night began. So again, not many results for the Senate race being seen here at Tommy Thompson's party. Of course, when the news does spread, we'll bring you reaction. We'll also bring you Tommy Thompson's comments when he makes them at the podium. But again, we expected it to be a long night. It's not officially over yet. And we'll be here all night and bring you the latest throughout the evening. Reporting live in Pewaukee, Robert Hornacek, Fox 11 News.
And it's a very similar story in the presidential race in the state. The numbers at this point in time, with roughly about 20% of the precincts reporting, shows a vote total in favor of Mitt Romney, but Fox News has declared the state for President Obama. For example, nearly twice as many votes are reporting already from Brown County as there are from Milwaukee County so far. So it's not an even spread across the state as far as the results so far. But let's dig a little deeper into how those numbers are coming in around the state and look at the group with our political analyst, and Mark Leland.
That's right, Tom. We are watching the state county by county, and as you mentioned, Fox has given it to Barack Obama, but as you see, 48% to 51% for Romney, clearly in the lead right now. This is a look at the counties, and we want to get Arnold Schober in here from Lawrence University to give us an idea. Now, all of these counties here, Brown County that we're showing right here with 47% and 51% right now for Romney, these counties went for Barack Obama 4 years ago.
They did, and one of the things that both Scott Walker and Mitt Romney have been able to do this time is return some of these counties back to the Republican column, making our race closer than what it was in 2008. For Romney to win Wisconsin, he'd have to do very well in our part of the state, northeast Wisconsin, because the rest of the state is pretty routine for the parties.
As you can see, some of the reporting right now, this is Akana County at 21%, 47% reporting in Brown County, Manitowoc just 16% reporting right now, but it has the edge for Romney. This would be an interesting play out here if Romney were to hold on to the numbers that we see right now.
It would, and this part of Wisconsin has been one of the least predictable parts of the state in terms of political support, going back 96, 2000, 2004, 2008, counties up here swing back and forth frequently, and Romney able to recapture them, if you want to think of it that way, for Republicans, doing well, but perhaps not able to take the advantage from down here in southwest Wisconsin.
Okay, a big difference the way the map looks right now from 4 years ago, but we're going to
Absolutely.
continue to monitor it, and we'll have an update for you a bit later.